No, I'm just being a... Fingers! Welcome! Glad to finally see you back. Hope you've been well. It was very good timing, actually. Where are you? That works. Ugh. Okay. Okay, alright. I need this. I owe somebody a sound redeem. Wow! That probably sounds awful. And I think I'm all caught up from reruns, so... Oh, amazing. It actually does work. Don't even have to tab in.
Oh well?
Oh well? You see, that one I can do. Damn. I don't think I can do that one. Oh. Uh. Think emoji. Alright. I need to remember what I was doing last time on this one because I think we had like an hour or like 30 minutes or something at the end. And I can't actually remember where this one's from. Or where we ended. I can't even remember where we ended. Oh, we had that guy putting that gun at his head, I remember. It's this game. Game of Doom. People, friends, suicide. How are you today? How is everyone today? I'm good. Cool. Seems you're all doing good today. Okay, it's remembering what we did. What's our options? 3. What's the sweets? Yes? No? Apparently not. No, just come back here. What to do? Alright. It's not that. That's a hint. We've spoken to this guy. Guess we just have to investigate this. Look at that enormous ledger on the Canada. Mr. Winterbank, if nothing else, very particular about recording the items he accepts. He'd have to be, otherwise he'd get himself into all sorts of trouble. Might explain the thing that catches my eye far more than the ledger. This revolver here. Do not entertain even the single thoughts of pilfering an article herein, my dear fellow. I assure you, Mr. Winterbank would not hesitate to draw that weapon with a speed belaying his portly size. Oh, you don't mean he'd blow his brains out? Indeed. In recompense for his blunder. Oh my. But in any case, of course, we would never do such a thing. How could you even suggest it? Speak for yourself. We know what a devilish criminal Ryan Niska is, so we could very easily, I think. Why has he been in handcuffs over the last 6 months? Look at this. Look at this. What could this lovely big shiny box be? That, my dear madam, is a music box. Surely you have such things in your own country? Oh my, yes. But I've certainly never seen one so large before. Shall we listen a while? No. I suppose I don't have a choice. Ah, what a sublime sound. It's like the music for angels. I've never heard anything like it before in my life. This particular specimen is of the larger variety, commonly found in public houses and restaurants. There's a metal disc inside on which the notes played are recorded. Simply by replacing the disc with another, any music you can care to imagine can be played. Oh my goodness! What a simply delightful machine. Hey, I was listening to that. Indeed. Though their popularity has wandered. Wandered? Waned? Though their popularity has waned recently, with the development of the gramophone, of course. Ah. Science and technology advance at such an overwhelming pace. There's a reason they're in this shop. There's got to be some of importance here. That's not a calendar you could easily miss, is it? April 15th. Today's date. And here I was all for a faulty calendar.
Yes, well, no, it's not for sale. Point out. It is an Eastern style page named calendar. Every night, at midnight, I tear off the front page to reveal the following day's date. The perfect calendar for a tearaway fellow such as yourself, Mr. Winter.
And who was it who just walked out of here with the wrong violin before?
Well, when we agreed the storage period passed without repayment, articles are fortified, you see. But forfeit.
Fortified?
Articles are forfeit, you see. So I have to keep a close eye on the date. It's, something of a pawnbroker's obsession, I'd say.
Oh yes. I can see you're very dedicated to your job. But I thought the conversation was going further. There's gotta be more. Look at this. Whatever could this be used for? I have no idea. Ah! There's a small catch just here. Look! We're going to open it, aren't we? Oh my! That's amazing! It has some sort of spring-loaded mechanism. Which we'll never manage to put back the way it was before. Ah, spoken like a true Brit.
Hmm? What are you two doing?
What? Us? Nothing! No, nothing at all. Whatever this device is, it seems to have a pair of little windows to look through. I feel as though I've seen something rather similar to this elsewhere. Yeah, could it be this? Which means you haven't seen it before. We looked at it out of order. Now what do you suppose this rather enormous machine does? It seems to have two little windows to look through.
Allow me to enlighten you, my dear fellows. What you are looking at is the stereoscope.
Stereoscope. Fascinating.
It was aptly named, I assure you. Look through the eyepieces and see for yourself.
Oh, I should be delighted to. Excuse me a moment. Oh, look.
Just before you do, there is something I should point out. My dear fellows, In order to see the image properly, stereoscopically, as it were, you will need to be cross-eyed. However, if that is beyond you, it is of little consequence.
Alright then, I'm gonna try it out. Mr. Naruhodo, you must see at once. Oh. Alright then. So I need to be cross-eyed. I can try to look at my own nose? This is gonna be a minigame. What the? I'm trying it, it's not working. I don't believe it. It's just a photographic print, but it seems like you could reach out and touch it.
Yes, the sense of depth is startling, is it not? Stereoscopes are one of London's many fads. They are often found in little stalls in the park. People queue for hours to see them.
Why? Why are people meddling with such black magic?
It's no magic, my dear madam. It is, well, far too complicated to explain at present. We shall save this lesson for another day.
Oh. Anything? Alright, so that's a long travel, isn't it? This is home. This is the pawnbrokers. Talk about convenience. Alright, let's not go here. Anything? Still nothing. No worries. It was nice to have you while you could be here. I will. Have a wonderful night. I know it's quite late for you. Take care. And hopefully by the end of the stream I actually figure out what I'm supposed to be doing. What's back here? There seems to be a little door hidden behind the curtain there.
That leads to the storage room where Mr. Winterbank keeps the articles that are currently on.
Ah, I see.
There's nothing of particular interest inside. I certainly wouldn't recommend any larcenous activity.
Recommended or not, it's not something I tend to do.
There is but one key, and Mr. Winterbank keeps it in his pocket at all times. Before he sleeps, places it into a small pot, hides under his pillow. How? How on earth do you know about that, Mr. Jones? I'm a detective, sir. It is my business to know what others do not. I am frequently assailed by information that I neither care for nor wish to retain.
Mr. Jones, you are a wonder. And the prime suspect if this pawnbrokery is ever burgled. Quite convenient that it's next door, isn't it? Ugh. What an assortment of things there are on these shelves here. Crockery, footwear, clocks, watches. Almost anything you care to imagine.
These are forfeited items, offered for sale by the pawnbroker.
What does that really mean, though?
When you pawn or...
Stop using big words, I don't know.
Or colloquially pop an item, the broker loans you money against its worth. He stores the item for an agreed period of time, after which the loan must be paid. If not, he is free to display it in his shop for sale at a price of his choosing.
Oh, yeah. Now you've explained it, I'm noticing little price tags on everything.
Of course, simply by paying the agreed interest on the loan, one can extend the period of safekeeping. So you may pawn that black garb of yours without fear, my dear.
My treasured university uniform? Never. It embodies my student spirit. You know what? Only tuppence for it. I ain't fair. And you know it. The article's barely worth...
The article is barely worth penny, miss. Cannot offer more.
Sounds like there's an argument brewing over by the counter. Come on, that can't be right. Have you ever had a proper butcher's at it?
I've seen all I need to see, young girl.
Wait. Don't we know? I'm sure I reckon. Oh yes, it's the lady from Mr. McGilda's trial day 2 months ago.
Her name is Jenna Lestrade, my lord. There's a chancer. Burns are crossed among large crowds, relating people out of purses. What's commonly called a pickpocket.
Ah yes, the girl with the gun. Gordon Bennett! You lot! Oh, hello, Mr. Straight. I hope you've been well. What? You remember me then, do yous? Well, I remember you being completely surrounded by smoke, that's for sure. So, what you doing in here? Down out like rest of us? Nothing to eat? Come to pop that black weasel? Sorry. Oh, have you? What is it about this black uniform that makes everyone comment on it?
Ah, good day. Unless I am much mistaken, you wouldn't happen to be the young pickpocket who stole our experimental smoke grenade launcher?
Mr. Sholmes!
So, you have something of value to pawn, do you? Allow me to see the article, and I shall negotiate with Mr. Winterbank on your behalf.
Pull the other one. I don't need no help from some stuck-up D. Get out of my business. Go on. Or I'll make trouble for you.
As you wish, Miss Lestrade. I will happily remove myself from your presence.
He's really done it. He's gone. I used to sit on the roof sometimes.
I'm sorry, but as I said, there's really no room for negotiation here.
What is that thing he has in his hands? Is it the gun? Oh, it's not the gun. Some kind of metal disc. And you, go on. Leave me alone. Oh, Miss Lestrade. He doesn't negotiate as a pawnbroker. It's up to you to try and negotiate. She's doing the right thing. It's him being very very uptight and very stingy.
It's really not up for debate.
Oh yeah? We'll see about that. Just pretend we aren't even here. We shan't be offended and Visitor can really stand her ground when she wants to. Whatever. Hold on. Just pretend we aren't even here. And then the next option is to converse with her. Somehow, I didn't really think you were the sort of person who'd use a pawnbroker, Mr. Strayed. Yeah? Well, I am, alright. I'm a Londoner. Just like everyone else. Not a problem, is it? No, not at all. It's just that, well, oh, I get it. I know what you're thinking. That thing probably don't even belong to her. Probably got it on the dive, didn't she? Yeah, I can see it written all over your Chevy Chase. Oh, some of these are awful. Well, I might have been thinking something along those lines. Maybe. You're not going to deny it, Mr. Naruhodo? Alright then, I'm just gonna come out and ask you straight. Do you pawn things that you steal from other people? Well, I don't know how best to answer that, really. Suppose sometimes. You're not going to deny... You're not going to deny it either, Miss Lestrade. Not this time, alright? I swear. That thing belongs to me. The disc that Mr. Winterbank is holding. Perhaps we should see what he has to say about all this. Back to the old examiner. Oh, the right side of my controls really warm, the left side's really like cold. Let's go with disc. Mr. Winterbank, what exactly is this metal disc that Mr. Straight has brought in? It seems to have hundreds of tiny little bumps on the surface.
Well, this music disc you see is for use inside a music box. In the music box.
In the music box? What? You don't even know what a music box is? You Eastern ain't too savvy, eh? I know what a music box is. I've just never seen one of these discs before.
The small protrusions in the metal disc encode the tune to be played by the music box. You simply insert the disc and set the machine going, and beautiful music plays.
It's so incredible! Tell us, what tune is on this disc?
Well, I'm afraid I couldn't tell you that. There are so many different types of music box, you see. British made, German, Swiss. I have no way of knowing which particular machine this disc was made for.
Ah, I see.
And that's it in a nutshell. I wouldn't have any customers for an item like this, even if the young lady forfeited it. Really, I am offering more than I should at a penny.
That's a packet of lies. He told me he did. He said it was well... He? Who? Never you mind. It just ain't right, that's all. That disc's worth good money, and I know it.
Well then, you'll have to try your luck at another pawnbroker's, won't you?
This guy's voice is actually out my throat.
He's been in here before, of course. This little tatterdemalion.
I see.
Brought some dubious article. Every single time, might I add.
Dubious? What are you trying to say? I'm an honest customer, me. So, is there something dubious about this disc that she brought in today?
Well, if only it were that simple.
Sorry, what do you mean?
What she actually brought in. What she actually brought in was a storage ticket.
Ah! A storage ticket? So, Miss Lestrade has actually come to redeem an article from you today. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. A girl like me has a lot of stuff, but needs sorted. Alright, yes. That's definitely dubious.
The article in question would have been forfeited at midnight tonight. But if you give me a ticket for it, I paid both the loan and the interest. I was obliged to return the article to her.
What was the article? You tell us, Mr. Winterbank.
Little scamp is wearing it, madam.
It's the overcoat that... oh. These voices are really, really picking me off today.
It's the overcoat that you redeemed.
Oh. What? What's wrong with that? It fits, don't it? I mean, it's mine. Of course it does. So, what about the disc then? How does that come into all of this?
The disc is something else. New article, porn. If the girl and I can agree a price.
I'm confused. I thought you said that Mr. Street brought a storage ticket in today.
It's really quite simple. Yes, the child brought me a storage ticket and the money owed on it, as you say.
This heavy black coat which you returned to her care as I understood it.
That's right, yes. And rather unsurprisingly, as soon as the little Rabbermucken put the thing on, he went rifling through the pockets.
Oh, you mean... What? Oh, you know it's rude to stare at a lady. Ah, I see. So it came from the pocket of the overcoat, did it?
If you mean this disc, then yes, exactly, madam.
And she immediately tried to pawn it. For quite a high price as well. This is all rather suspicious, I think. Give it up. I was just trying to pawn something like anyone else would. Mr. Strayed, may I ask you who deposited the overcoat here in the first place? Well, me? It doesn't really appear to be your size. Me old man! It's me old man, ain't it? Is it, Mr. Straight? Yes, this is definitely all rather suspicious. And we're probably never gonna get an answer.
Out of my way, please!
And who's this picture postcard English gentleman? You probably will. It wouldn't surprise me if... I wonder if this is her dad. Wouldn't that be the kick in the teeth? And then he comes in, negotiates a higher price for that music disc, and pulls his daughter out of the shop with quite a harsh beating. I wonder. Let's think of a voice. What voice suits this guy? Got to be very very posh. I'm thinking a very subtle voice, very elegant. Good day, you ladies and gentlemen. Here's I'm wrong. What's your problem, eh?
There's no problem. As long as you remove yourself. I've a matter to discuss with the proprietor.
And if you intend to make a problem of it, I shall see you outside, little girl, for the hiding you deserve. Look, it ain't it obvious? I ain't done talking with him yet. You think you're such a gent? You should know how to wait in line. Well, aren't you an impudent little brat? You are an impudent little brat, aren't you? Well, as a pickpocket. Who are you? How do you know who I am? The question is, how do you not know who I am? You haven't the courtesy to even remember the faces of your victims, it seems. What? You mean I'm you?
Broker! Oh, yes, sir.
I believe this filthy pocket thief has just redeemed an article. Oh.
Yes.
The article in question belongs to me. I demand for it to be returned once. Oh my! Now that's a lie. What are you trying to pull? Give me back my overcoat, you wastrel. Wastrel? What word's that? And needless to say, any music box discs too. No! You can't have it. You just can't. It's me old man's. Or it was. Now it's mine. Goodness, Mr. Naruhodo. This is a very awkward situation. Especially for us. Yes. I think we should perhaps hear both sides of this story in a little more detail. You know, if Lestrade wouldn't have pushed away Sherlock Holmes, he would have been able to help this situation. Even though this new gentleman does look a bit like Sherlock Holmes in disguise. Miss Lestrade, is what the gentleman is saying true? What do you think? It's all lies, ain't it? Obviously. I swear on my life. I ain't never laid eyes on this dandy before.
Let's hear it now, you little ragamuffin. You stole this, didn't you? That ticket you brought in here just now.
No. I swear it. I swear to God. It was barely an hour ago. I was walking along the street, minding up my own business. And this little gutterling ran into me. I knew at once. I've been robbed yet again, I vowed to myself. Those wretched pickpockets. Yet again? Oh yes, you can see I'm a man of impeccable style. I'm trying to get closer. I'm not too sure. don't see it.
This isn't the first time. Targeted by these backslum scoundrels. Como mostra Dio. The world.
It looks like Dio. And they all tend to have these JoJo-based styles. You've got Sherlock Holmes, you've got this guy.
Now then, relinquish my overcoat. Come along now, Miss. That's the judge.
That's the judge.
Come along now. Come along now, Mr. Stray. Give the good gentleman his coat back. If you're going to cause trouble, I shall have no choice but to call the police.
Hold on. Why does everyone think it's me? Just look at this dandy cove. And you think I'm the dodgy one?
I am sorry, but no one's going to believe you.
Well, what about evidence? Yeah? Where's your evidence I stole something, eh? Come on. Let's see it.
Oh, I have evidence. Naturally.
You what? What's the evidence? Like, he's got a photographic print. Fingerprints. A photographic memory is not evidence. Evidence that the article belongs... The article Miss Lestrade redeemed actually belongs to this gentleman? Of course! We need only consult Mr. Windbank's ledger to know the truth. We'll be able to look up the name of the person who deposited the article in the first place. Yes! Brilliant!
Oh, I'm very sorry, but I'm afraid that won't be possible.
Oh?
I never ask customers' name. Strict policy of mine.
Why not?
Well, now, as you can imagine, some of my customers have circumstances to consider. A great many of them prefer to maintain their anonymity.
Yeah, I see. But then how can you know if an article belongs to the person asking to redeem it?
Oh, it's quite simple. Good sir, may I trouble you for watchword associated with the article in question? Of course. It's... Professor. Yes, that's right. And all the evidence we need. Gentleman is the rightful owner of the article. Without doubt.
A watchword. Interesting. So, about these watchwords, Mr. Winterbank.
As I just explained, I never ask customers' names when they deposit the items with me. There are many reasons why certain customers would like to keep their activities secret.
That wasn't exactly a subtle glance at Mr. Jones now, was it? I didn't even see him. didn't even see him. I love this game. I love this game so much. Ow! Great detectives have no dark secrets. None at all.
Yes, well. Anyway, that's why I would always ask for a watchword if I accept a new article. Anyway, it's like a secret combination. Numbers you like a vault. The deposit date, the description, and a watchword to identify each item. Of course, when I give the storage ticket to the customer, when someone comes to redeem something, I ask for the ticket and the watchword.
And if somebody tells you the correct watchword, you return the article.
Right, sir, yes. As soon as a requisite fee paid.
And I have supplied you with the information you require already. But for the avoidance of doubt, the article in question is an overcoat. Deposited 2 months ago, on the 15th of February. With the watchword of Professor.
Oh, perfectly correct information, sir.
Ow!
Really? This is beyond a joke now. There's no further room for doubt.
We can't present anything. And Mr. Sholmes is nowhere to be seen. Let's see what this guy has to say. Excuse me, but who are you?
One would expect the Enquirer introduced first. Though clearly you are not British, so perhaps our ways are foreign.
Oh, sorry, yes, we are from the Empire of Japan. We are studying here.
Oh yes, Japan. I've heard talk of such a place. Its inhabitants live on some fiery brown colored soup dressed up with exotic spices.
What is this pose? You might be thinking of somewhere else. And what was that theatrical gesticulation? What was that theatrical gesticulation about?
Perhaps, anyway, if you are a gentleman, sir, you offer your own name first for inquiring. Name of another.
Of course, yes. I am Ryunosuke Naruhodo. I'm a lawyer. Oh, student of law, really. My name is Suzuto Mikitara. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's assistant.
I see. My name is Benedict. Yes. Agate Benedict.
Alright. Alright, I'm done. Eggs Benedict. Eggs Benedict. Look, you could be a little bit. All right.
Enchanté.
He's so refined in how he holds himself and how he speaks, but name is suspicious.
Now, to the matter at hand. My overcoat. Return it at once. To someone with the style to carry it off.
Every move he makes, every breath he takes. What's done watching him?
So, let it be the end of the matter. And thank you for your custom, Mr. Egg Benedict, sir.
With such reasonable rates of interest, I may even decide to come back.
This is why I hate grown-ups. Just because I'm a driver. Just because I'm a diver, everyone thinks that makes me a liar.
And the contents of the coat pockets, if you please, broker.
Of course, sir. Here's the disc for you.
Just this one?
Fine, sir.
I was expecting another. That is, I deposited another.
Another disc.
Oh dear. I regret to inform you, sir, that was what was deposited with me. It was merely the overcoat. The disc happened to be in one of the pockets, but I was completely unaware of it until now.
So, Gutterling, you're hiding more of what's rightfully mine, are you?
Say so, eh? I don't know nothing about it.
Very well. Then I should bid you farewell. Say goodbye to style.
Wait a minute. That disc is mine.
What do you think you're doing, you little tramp? You've drawn blood. Filthy animal.
Oh my! Yeah! There's blood on the disc! Because of those sharp little bumps. Mum must have scratched his finger on them. Okay, there we go. She slipped up. I found it first, alright? I mean, it belonged to me old man. So you're not having it? Or you? So you're not having it? Or you? You take it. Me? If I hang on to it, they'll have me off again. They'll have it off me again. You keep hold of it. Hey? Miss Lestrade, why is this disc so important to her? Hang on. I can't hold this.
You there, in the back library. Hand that disc to me at once. Please.
No! Don't! He's lying! Grown-ups are all liars. What do I do now? How am I going to resolve this? Maybe. It's that time again. Mr. Sholmes? What are you examining with such keen interest there? As you enjoy a bar of caramel, I see.
So, you found me at last, Mr. Naruhodo.
Sorry?
After that young pickpocket sent me on my way, I was forced to lurk in shadow. Cruelly ostracized, the rest of you partook in jovial atmosphere, fellowship. I had nothing to occupy my mind, but was too ashamed to let society see what my downfall had done to me. So, feigning mock interest, I pretended to examine the tedious trinkets in this desolate. Whilst, as you shrewdly observe, knowing on the only friend I have left, this 7% solution caramel. Pray, do you claim to understand the depths of my despair, Mr. Naruhodo? But how could you? I was so lonely, so desperately lonely.
But then, why on earth didn't you rejoin the conversation? Things have gone from bad to worse here, you know.
Yes, I overheard much of your conversation. Or rather, in my craving for human contact, my ears devoured every last word uttered.
You really were sad, weren't you? Poor Mr. Sholmes. I feel simply awful for you. It
would seem that my inferences.
Oh, surely you're not about to tell us that you've solved this entire case once again?
My dear madam, sometimes I wonder, what were my geniuses for deduction to be commoditized? How much could I pawn it for?
Seems Mr. Sholmes has had another of his flashes of inspiration. But who knows if it'll help resolve this situation between Mr. Strayed and the mysterious gentleman? What's the right thing to do here? Do we do it? Let's listen to it.
Well, Miss Lestrade, it would appear you find yourself in something of a predicament.
Where in the blue blazer you been, eh?
Pardon?
When a lady's in trouble, a true gent's supposed to be there and help them straight away. Not an hour later. Gosh.
And who, pray tell, are you? Ace Ventura, pet detective. Mr. Eggert Benedict. You have, in my eyes, a veritably encyclopedic array of curiosities about your person. Nevertheless, there are two immovable conclusions I have drawn.
As usual.
I beg your pardon. The first is this. The true reason for your visit to this pawnbrokery today is something you have not yet revealed. And the second is this. A considerable crime is in contemplation. One you will orchestrate with the intent to steal a vast sum of money. Well, Mr. Benedict, what say you to my deduction? How?
He's turned as white as a hard-boiled egg. Oh, he's right for once. Wow. It would seem that once again, Mr. Shums has made a flawless deduction.
Who do you think you are, sir? Ah, yes, as I had hoped. That is precisely the pained expression I'm looking for. So, shall we begin? The time has come yet again for another Sherlock Holmes Logic and Reasoning Spectacular.
The game is afoot. Mystery Man's Aim.
First of all, we must ask ourselves on what business you ventured to this pawnbrokery today. You claim to have followed this pickpocket here, having had the redemption ticket stolen from you on the street. But that is most certainly a lie. The real truth is something quite different. As revealed by that which you hold in your hand.
Absolutely not.
Yes, what brought you to this shop in the first place is the staff recruitment flyer. That piece of paper in your hand is a staff wanted advertisement for this very shop. Yet, even the most unobservant would soon realize that a man of your appearance has no need for such employ. In other words, there are some ulterior motive for your actions. The cane which you unwittingly clutch to your person exhibits an incontrovertible contradiction. What utter rot! I've had this cane for years. The contradiction of which I speak, of course. The missing ferrule. The end of any walking cane would be terminated with a metal ferrule to protect the wooden tip. And yet, detailed analysis shows the wooden tip of this stick to be utterly bare. Therefore, there is only one conclusion. The rod that you hold in your hand, which appears to be a walking cane, is in fact no cane at all. You recoil, sir. Is something wrong? And in your recoiling, you inadvertently facilitate the answer to my next conundrum to present itself. Namely, what is the truth behind this rod you bear? Yes, your reaction betrays the truth. The handle which you evidently would like to conceal is the key to understanding this riddle you see. The riddle you see. For the moment I saw it, my suspicions were aroused. What walking cane demands such a stout handle? Moves the eye. But of course, as I said, this is no walking cave. No, that rod is the broken handle of a shovel. Are you insane? And now, having determined this undeniable truth, the conclusion...
Oh, I broke character there for that. It took a minute for my brain to process what he just said. When I was reading it, I was like, eh? I was like, oh, that's, no, there's no way.
Your true motive for coming here today was to take employment at this establishment in order to excavate the ground beneath the premises. What a calculated crime you have conceived, sir. A wickedly calculated crime.
To tunnel underneath the pawnbroker. Alright, somehow, I think he's wrong. I don't know why that caught me off guard so much. It was like, he said worse. He said that he keeps a pet tiger in like a very small house. And somehow that got me. Wonder if it's like, 'cause he's a really posh guy and he's like, oh yeah, you're tunneling the ground underneath with like a broken shovel. Alright. Let's see what he's got to say now.
Now, Mr. Benedict, let us continue. For we must expose the details of this elaborate crime that you have in the planning. This is utterly absurd. You suggest that I, a gentleman, intend to excavate the ground beneath this pawnbrokery with a broken shovel? What on earth do you propose I could expect to find there? Some long-forgotten treasure, I suppose. Save for such a fanciful theory, what possible reason could I have to do as you say?
Oh. I love how Sean's deductions are always based on reasonable things, but they end up being absolute insanity. I mean, it's absolutely true. He does reason it. It's just his reasoning has no logical backup. So it's not a logical and reasoning spectacular, it's a reasoning spectacular. There's no well no, it's kind of just a logic spectacular. The logic's correct, but the actual reasoning's very bad. Unlike Iris, Iris makes some very good deductions. Ah! Sorry, just sneezed.
Oh, but there is ample reason. As you are only too aware, Mr. Benedict. Ah. And your furtive glance is more telling than I could have hoped. What? Let us consider what would be motive. What would motivate a man to infiltrate such a shop? A shop such as...
I'm all over the place with this one.
Let us consider what would motivate a man to infiltrate a shop such as this and covertly dig beneath the floor. The answer is revealed by the council notice on this counter to which your eyes were inadvertently drawn. This letter gives us notice of public works to be carried out in the local area. And according to the enclosed plan of the upcoming sewage works, beneath this shop runs a sewer that adjoins to another, one that runs underneath the bank on the opposite side of the road. This madness has entered the sewers now, has it? By excavating the ground beneath our feet, you would gain entry to the waterway. It flows in very close proximity to the great vault of the financial institution opposite. What are you? In summary, sir, you devised a master plan to pull off an elaborate bank robbery by dint of the underground tunnels. Master plan? Which brings us at last to the final chapter of this lurid scheme. With what plunder did the thief hope to make off the underground? With what plunder did the thief hope to make off from the underground vault of the bank? Are you quite serious? Having consulted with Scotland Yard some days ago, I happen to know the answer. But naturally, the answer is no secret to you, is it, Mr. Benedict? I have no idea what you're talking about. Allow me to present a rather interesting piece of evidence. You see, the pictured postcard tells us all we need to know. A postcard from the Great Exhibition. I'm afraid you've quite lost me. Currently, in the final stages of preparation, the Great Exhibition will soon be underway, and the government has provided extra funds to complete its centerpiece, the Crystal Tower. Funds that currently sit in a vault of the bank on the other side of this road. Pardon? Yes, considerable climb you have been contemplating. Is the theft of that which sits in the vault of the bank the special reserve funds of the Great Exhibition? Of course, that is top secret police information, so keep it under your hat, please.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't have blurted that out in front of like 5-6 people. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun.
Thus concludes Helixtrom's great deduction of this pawnbroking puzzle.
Mr. Sholmes?
Well, Mr. Naruhodo, an impressive upbeat deduction for a detective racked with loneliness, would you not agree?
Was it true what you said about the bank over the road and what it has in its vault?
Indeed. Though few know of its existence, it's one of the government's most closely guarded secrets. Gregson told me, in the strictest confidence.
Yep, and all that confidence has been shattered, hasn't it? But you just announced it to everyone here. Rather loudly, in fact.
Ah!
And if it was such a big secret, how would Mr. Benedict have come to find out about it?
There can be only one explanation for that. Clearly it's because the man is a criminal.
But what if he didn't know anything about the money in the vault? If he is a criminal, as you said, then buying a brand new shovel is sure to be the first thing he does now that you've revealed that secret.
Oh.
Or if he doesn't, maybe Mr. Winterbank will. He already has plenty of shovels here after all.
Oh, my life, I assure you I'm not so unscrupulous.
Well, hopefully this has taught you a valuable lesson. Sensitive information must be sent. Sensitive.
Let's try that again, shall we?
Sensitive information must be handled with the utmost of care.
Yeah.
One can never be sure that someone privy to secrets won't disclose them. And once the word is out, it's out.
Perhaps I'll think twice before confiding you next time, Mr. Shams.
An excellent idea, Mr. Naruhodo. An excellent idea.
Yeah, at this point, I don't think I'm confiding in you either. Well then, Mr. Naruhodo, you know what to do, I'm sure. Yes, let's listen to that great deduction again and see if we can massage it into ape, shall we?
Very well then. Let us start once more from the beginning. Of Herlock's magnificent logic and reasoning spectacular.
And just before we do, I'm going to do a BRB. How's that for a cliffhanger? Let's see, I'll leave you in the loving hands of Pretzel. And I shall return momentarily. Yo, I'm back. I forgot to turn myself off. Oh well. Life moves on. Let's fix this deduction, shall we? Welcome back.
Welcome back.
those words mean something else from a different video. Oh, I love that video. Okay. I am welcome back. Thank you. Let's see how we can amend a bank robbery into that's not your overcoat. Course correction. Hold it, Mr. Sholmes.
First of all, we must ask ourselves, on what business you ventured to this pawnbrokery today? You claim to have followed this pickpocket here, having the redemption ticket stolen from you on the street. But that is, most certainly, a lie. The real truth is something quite different. As revealed by that which you hold in your hand. Yes, what brought you to this shop in the first place is the staff recruitment flyer.
So, by Mr. Shone's reasoning, Mr. Benedict came here in order to apply for a job so he could dig down through the floor. Yes, in an attempt to tunnel into the sewers to gain access to the money in the vault of the bank across the road. But he wouldn't get very far with a broken shovel, would he? No. I think it's fair to say his motives lie elsewhere. The question is, where? What did bring Mr. Benedict here at this point, a particular point in time? The can? Oh, look on the back of it. Oh! Look at all the scribbled notes in the back of the flyer here. I don't believe it. What is it? Listen to what it says. Name. Tina Lestrade. 5'2", green cap, scruffy waistcoat, grubby white shirt, blue satchel, ragged. It's a detailed description of Miss Lestrade. Goodness! There's even a sketch of her, hat and all. Although if he showed it to her, he'd fire that smoke grenade launcher in his face for sure. And look! The detail of the shop has been written down here too. Winterbank Pawnbrokery, Baker Street, redemption deadline, 15th of April. Which is today's date. Why would Mr. Benedict have all that information scrolled on the back of a piece of paper? So, Mr. Sholmes wasn't wrong. It is this. It's the back of it, though. Take that!
Take that!
Yes, what brought you to this shop in the first place is that info about Miss Lestrade.
Quite so, my dear fellow. It would appear that the writings and sketch on the reverse of the flyer pertain to the pickpocket Miss Lestrade and to Mr. Winterbank's pawnbrokery. Ah.
You originally told us that you had merely given chase after Miss Lestrade after Miss Lestrade stole the redemption ticket from you.
But that, sir, is a thinly veiled lie.
It is the information on the back of the flyer that led you here today. By which I mean, here, to Winterbank's pawnbrokery. And today, the redemption deadline of that overcoat.
So you waited outside for the young girl matching the description you have written down here to arrive. And you have gone to some lengths to hide the reason for your pursuit of Miss Lestrade. In other words, there is some ulterior motive for your action. The cane, which you unwittingly clutched to your person, exhibits an incontrovertible contradiction.
What utter rot! I've had this cane for years.
The contradiction which I speak of is, of course, the missing Faroul.
What's a ferrule? It's the metal cap commonly found on the end of a cane missed in Naruhodo. Ah, the bit that makes the nice clacking sound on the pavement. Yes, exactly. And Mr. Shum is right. It appears to be missing on this cane. But doesn't actually look broken, does it? No, it doesn't. Though a gentleman certainly did recoil when Mr. Jones identified the cane as suspicious. In other words, there's some secret about that cane that Mr. Benedict would rather we don't know. Look here, Miss Susato. There's some letters on the handle. Ah yes, that must be initials, I think. In the West, it's customary for people to engrave their belongings with the first letters of their names. So, Sherlock Holmes would be HS. That's right. And the initials on this cane, obviously... Oh. A.G. Why does it feel as though that's not quite right? There's gotta be on it.
Take that!
Take that! The contradiction which you speak of course. The initialing.
A most absurd observation, wouldn't you say, Mr. Eggert Benedict? We are led to believe, sir, that your initials are E.B. Yet, in the most progressive manner, you have in your grasp a cane bearing the initials A.G. An incontrovertible contradiction indeed. Would you not agree? No. You're wrong. This cane isn't...
You said before that you had that cane for years. So don't try and tell us you just borrowed it from a friend or found it in the park.
In short, you thought, though you hold yourself to be a gentleman, you have withheld your true name.
You recoil, sir.
Something wrong?
That.
And in your recoiling, you inadvertently facilitate the answer to the next conundrum to present itself. Namely, what is the truth behind this rod you bear? Yes, your reaction betrays the truth. The handle, which you evidently would like to conceal, is the key to understanding this riddle.
Let me finish. Let's consider this the bare bones of what happened here. Mr. Strayed redeemed that fine-looking overcoat, and now a mysterious man has appeared, introducing himself with a fake name, and claiming that the overcoat belongs to him. But we know he actually identified Mr. Strayed from a written description, which suggests that everything else he told us is untrue. So what we have to do here is somehow prove that the overcoat cannot possibly belong to him. Well, it just ripped, didn't it? Oh! Seam on the shoulder there is coming apart, look. So it is. You know, a moment ago when Mr. Benedict was surprised by something that was said, I thought I heard him make a rather strange noise. It sounded a bit like a tiny growl. But now I think that was probably the sound of the seam ripping open. If you look closely, it does seem to be a very tight fit. The sleeves are stretched to bursting. And he wouldn't have a hope of fastening it at the front. If he were to run around in it, I'm sure the whole thing would fall apart. That I'd like to see. Sorry? So, how can we make Mr. Benedict run around? He's really giving this some thought. So what we're trying to... The handle, which you evidently would like to conceal, is the key to understanding the riddle. I assume it's the seam, because it's the only thing that we can kind of examine.
Take that!
The split seam, which you evidently would like to conceal, is the key to understanding this riddle that you see.
Yes, as the overcoat is rather obviously a poor fit.
Having forced it over your broad shoulders, the seam is already breaking apart.
My suspicions were aroused from the onset. When you so When you so boldly lied about your name and so boldly waylaid this pickpocket. Pickpocket. Ah. This catalogue of untruths has all been for one very specific purpose. To steal the article that the young girl redeemed from Mr. Winterbank. But what really irks me is this. The considerable crime I initially imagined has been considerably curtailed.
To abscond with a redeemed item. Now, Mr. Benedict, let us continue. But we must expose the detail. My brain is all over the place. I'm doing the wrong voice.
For I must expose the details of this elaborate crime you have in the planning. This is utterly absurd. You suggest that I, gentlemen, designed a wheeze to filch some tawdry article of porridge. Have you forgotten that I redeemed the article in the proper manner, using the watchword? Had I not been the one to deposit it in the first place, how could I possibly have known the relevant details? N'est-ce pas?
Oh,
But the watchword can be discovered, as you are only too well aware, Mr. Benedict. Ah, your furtive glance is more telling than I could have hoped.
I like his animation. He's got some mad JoJo poses, this guy.
What? Let us consider how one might come to learn a secret watchword relating to the pawned property of another. The method is revealed by the council note.
It really isn't. It's more the ledger. The direction of this deduction must change rather dramatically now. Yes. No more talk of tunnelling into the sewers. Which is a pity because it all sounded rather exciting. Anyway. You can't deny that this mysterious gentleman did know the watchword. Yes, Professor. If you didn't know that word, Mr. Winterbourne would never allow you to redeem the article. Or, looking at it in another way, if you did know that word, Mr. Winterbank would allow you to redeem the article whether it was yours or not. So the question is, could this gentleman have found the watchword out somehow? Old lamp, revolver, council notes. Doggo! That's one realistic looking dog for everything else that's here. It's probably this note, isn't it? Look at this, Miss Suzuto. Ah! It appears to be a memo that Mr. Winterbank has scribbled to himself. Let's see. What does it say? Oh. Professor. Mr. Winterbank must make a note of the watchwords his customers give him right before their eyes. And an alarmingly clear script as well. Oh dear. I don't know where to look. Who knows what other secret to find out.
Take that!
Take that!
Method is revealed by this notelet on the counter, to which your eyes were inadvertently drawn.
Yes, the broker here follows the same procedure whenever a customer comes in to redeem an article.
He asks the customer for a watchword and notes down the response uttered on a notelet he has at hand. He then consults his ledger and confirms whether or not the watchword matches that of the article in question. I would expect nothing less of a diligent pawnbroker.
But his diligence clearly has its disadvantages.
What are you talking about?
It is increasingly apparent
That you were present in the shop before your accusation against Miss Lestrade. In all likelihood, you followed her.
Oh, in all likelihood, you followed her inside and then observed her talking to Mr. Winterbank. When the diligent broker made note of the watchword, as is his common practice, you observed him writing the word professor on the notelet beside the ledger.
And that, sir, was your master plan that you devised to steal the pawned article from the young Miss Lestrade. Master plan. Which brings us to the last and final chapter of this lurid scheme. Why would you go to such lengths to redeem that particular article from this pawnbroker? Are you quite serious? For an ill-fitting overcoat hardly seems to justify the effort, much less the worthless music box discs. But naturally, you had very good reason to make them yours, didn't you, Mr. Benedict? I have no idea what you're talking about. Allow me to present a rather interesting piece of evidence. You see, this picture postcard tells us all we need to know.
The articles we're talking about are the overcoat and the music box disc that was in one of the pockets, which according to Mr. Winterbank isn't even worth a penny. And yet this man went to such lengths to steal them. Why? I wonder if perhaps we already have the evidence we need to explain it, Mr. Naruhodo. Could we? Really? I better have a good look through all the evidence we've collected so far. Oh wow, it's all coming full circle. Look at that. Everything's coming together. Everything's coming together. Oh! There's a little scrap of paper stuck on the reverse of the side of the disc. Look! And a scribbled word or two. It looks like someone's name. Or McGilded. McGilded? Could it be? But it is Mr. Naruhodo. A name I shall never forget for as long as I live. But why? Why is his name on this?
Take that!
Take that!
You see, this music about this tells us all we need to know.
What's that? What's that on the back?
It reads.
It reads, for McGilded. Mr. Magnus McGilded. The unfortunate philanthropist who perished in curious circumstances at the Old Bailey 2 months ago. A prominent man in London, though his lone-mongering demonstrated a distinct lack of scruples. So, you're an associate of his, are you? Perhaps an associate? Subordinate?
Mr. McGilded was a man of unusual small stature. In fact, he was precisely the right size for that overcoat that you've squeezed yourself into.
Your true identity remains shrouded in mystery, Mr. Eggert Benedict. But the final conclusion here is crystal clear. The reason you came to this prawn brokery today. Was to retrieve an article left behind by the late Magnus McGilded.
Case closed. Deduction complete. Elementary.
Well, well, Mr. Magnus McGilded. Not a name I expected to hear in these circumstances.
Mr. Sholmes, I'm afraid there's something very troubling on my mind.
Pray tell, Miss Susato.
Oh, according to what Mr. Winterbank told us earlier, today was the final day which the coat could have been redeemed, was it not?
Yes, ma'am. It's correct. Today would have been precisely 2 months since it was first deposited.
Well, today's the 15th of April, so 2 months ago.
It would have been 15th of February, sir. Right. It's all carefully recorded in my ledger.
Alright, first off, you need to learn how to count months. Because this is not how businesses operate. You have 28 days or so in February. Which means the next date would have been up. I think. Yeah, it would have been. It would have been up. It would have been like 3rd of September, April, June, and November. So it would have gone to the 31st, which would have made that 3 days more. So that would have been the 18th of March. Which would have made it the 18th of April. So technically, we haven't even hit the date yet. If you do the math properly. You know, like a respectable business. I'll say it.
Deposited at 10:30 p.m., I see.
What? But that suggests... Yes, 15th February is precisely the day in which the omnibus murder took place. And 10:30 in the evening is precisely the time at which terrible events were unfolding.
Suggestive is not the word. It would seem the matter is entirely beyond coincidence. You are, of course, at liberty to make whatever outlandish deductions you choose. However, I must insist you hand over the music box this now. It would be a terrible shame for you to return to your native land in a box.
What do I do? Absolutely not. There are some things a man must protect at all costs. This may well be one of those things. Then again, it may not.
Hold it!
Mr. Winterbank?
This is my shop. Can't allow harm to come to my customers. If that were to happen, I should have to take my own life.
Mr. Winterbank, no.
Right, that's enough.
Inspector Gregson?
Inspector? That's right, Sunshine. The alarm was raised on one of our dedicated emergency lines. We got here as fast as we could. Now, what's all this about, eh? Oh, praise be, you're here at last. I was moments away from forfeiting my own life, my own very own establishment. It would seem you have the upper hand.
Good.
Right. You lot got some explaining to do. I don't appreciate being bothered with some petty argy-bargy.
Petty? Mr. Winterbank very nearly met with his end.
Yeah, by his own gun as far as I can tell. Oh dear.
And the
whole of Britain could have met its end if I don't get to the bottom of this case I'm supposed to be working on.
What? What on earth is this case, Inspector?
There no detail, Gregson? I might have said a little bit too much. No matter. It's nothing to do with you lot. Anyway, sir, you're gonna have to come with me down to the station. But of course, Inspector.
Was he some, like, acrobatic circus guy? It's just...
Get after him, lads. Whistle the beat officer too. Sir! There's been a spate of thefts at pawn shops around here recently. So we've fitted emergency buttons underneath counters for brokers to let us know when they're in trouble.
Oh, Inspector, I was worried there for a while. Very worried indeed.
Now then, Mr. Permanently in Mourning.
Oh. Yes?
We'll be taking whatever it is of McGill's down to yard. Thank you very much. So hand it over.
Oh yeah, of course. No! No! Don't give it to him. It's mine, that is. Mine.
I'm sorry, miss. But anything belonging to McGill that has to be taken in as evidence, no?
As evidence?
If the police demand something as evidence, my dear fellow, we have no choice but to capitulate.
Whatever that means.
All yours, Inspector.
And so we handed Mr. McGill's disc over to Inspector Gregson. And were summarily turfed out of the shop and onto the street. Question is, how does that guy play into all this? Save the progress. Oh, hold on, that jacket is also McGilda's. Why didn't they also take that? See? That's why I hate grown-ups. All they do is feed you a pack of lies and take your stuff away from you.
Oh, really, Miss Lestrade?
But tell me, is that overcoat keeping you warm? What? Oh my! Surely you were given that? Yeah? The D let me keep it. After I looked daggers at him for long enough. He went through his pockets and said, "Go on then, have it," before telling me to scarper. Always pays off. Giving people a look like Yam. Like Yam. I can't help feeling that it's going to get you into serious trouble one day. What? All I really wanted was that nice shiny disc mine. That music box disc. But Mr. Winterbank said it was practically worthless. I think I'm gonna go have another bash. Give him a long hard stare.
I think not, Strayed. We shan't enter Winterbanks again today.
Why not? That's not fair. It can't be helped, I'm afraid. The police are investigating the scene now and taking a statement from Mr. Winterbank. That disc mine. I had the ticket for this coat. It was in the coat's pocket. And there should be something else and all. That's what the Rotten Cove said, ain't it? Yes, he did mention something about another article, didn't he? Well then, that's mine too. Whatever it is. Now she's really pushing her luck.
Mr. Strayed, I think it's time to admit defeat. You've had your haul for the day.
Yeah? It's all your fault, Shums.
So, what are your plans now? Will you dine with us this evening?
Huh?
Iris would be delighted to cook, I'm sure, and I might entertain you with a modest violin recital.
No, Ta.
Oh?
Why'd I come round to your place, ah? Have you lost your head or something? Oh dear. She's gone.
Having reviled on me quite unnecessarily, I might add.
I can't help wondering if perhaps she might turn up anyway.
Interesting.
Once she's had a chance to calm down, I think there's a good chance she'll decide to come.
Very well then. I'll inform Iris to set a place for our potential guest at the dinner table this evening. And one more thing. I should be glad of your company later too.
Sorry?
I believe I will have a rather splendid surprise to show you.
Oh, how exciting! What is it?
You shall have to wait and see, Miss Susan. Until later then.
Okay. So, where do we go from here? Where are we now? Sholmes is... Ah, Susie! No. Come in. Good afternoon, Iris. Thank you for the breakfast this morning. Oh, don't mention it. Goodness, what a time already. Busy as always? I am. I'm preparing everything for dinner this evening. Already? You're obviously cooking something special, are you? Oh yes. After all, we have a special guest joining us. Guess who it is? Go on. You'll never guess. Look at those little eyes of hers shining. Oh dear. It's awkward when you already know the answer, isn't it? It's Ginny! Isn't that exciting? Oh! What a surprise! Yeah, that's wonderful news. Wow. Iris seems overjoyed at the idea. I can't wait to learn some pickpocketing to a real professional. Oh yeah, that does sound like fun. I'm not sure that's entirely appropriate, Mr. Naruhodo. Are you? I'm not sure that's entirely appropriate. Are you, Mr. Naruhodo? By the way, Iris, what's Mr. Sholmes up to? Really? Oh, he's been like that ever since he got back. Hello, Mr. Sholmes?
I beg that you won't speak to me.
Sorry?
I don't know who you are, but kindly take your leave. As you can see, I'm not here.
I don't know how to respond to that. I do apologize. When he gets like this, he's completely oblivious to everything. Yes, I see. Really? He just behaves like a child sometimes. Well, he does. Mr. Sholmes and Iris have something of a parent and child relationship, don't they? Yes, except that Iris is clearly the parent here. Come to think of it, I wonder where her real parents are. What's the matter, Bruno? You haven't ever such a funny look on your face. Oh, no, it's nothing. I know what it is. Why does this girl live here with Mr. Sholmes? You're wondering, am I right? How? How did you... Oh, Bruno, I can read you like a book. This girl is dangerous. Don't worry. You can ask me anything. I won't mind. Alright, let's get to the bottom of this adoption relationship. So, Ginny, you mean Miss Lestrade, the young woman from Mr. McGilda's case 2 years ago, right? Yes. You also stole my experimental smoke grenade launcher. Although, after that trial, I invited her back here and we had dinner together. And now we're the best of friends. Oh! A lovely tale. Yes. Now if I bump into her on the streets, she runs away as fast as she can. Oh. And I chase after her down the back alleys. Interesting idea of friendship. And then I let her have the latest color of smoke grenade I've developed. Oh! There are so many beautiful colors in the world. Ginny wants to make a whole rainbow. I suppose this means you've let Miss Lestrade keep the smoke grenade launcher, have you? Yes, that's right. I got bored of it anyway. Hurley always reacts the same way when I shoot him with it now. Poor Hurley. Oh, I can't wait for Ginny to arrive. Too long since she last came over. I'm so excited. I just hope she actually does come. I'm sure you've been wondering why it is that I live here with Hurley, haven't you? Well, it has crossed my mind that and where are your real parents? My mummy and daddy aren't with me anymore. Mummy passed away when I was born, and at around the same time, father. He had to go to a faraway land because cases in Hurley were vacant. Oh. Wait a minute. You say he and Hurley? Yes. Daddy and Hurley were always solving mystery cases together. You didn't mention that before. But she's John Wilson's daughter. Interesting. You wrote them all up his diaries? That's what that metal chest over there. Really? He recorded all of them? So, you mean it's true? Mr. Sholmes really did have a partner whom he tackled some of his most taxing cases? Oh yes. I mean, it was always nice to have. It's always nice to have one, isn't it? So, Mr. Sholmes' partner was your father. Exactly. I wonder when John Wilson appears in this game. Surprisingly, I don't think he will. The whole illusion is that this is Dr. Wilson. All we have to do is analyze Iris, and then we can kind of make a good deduction on what happened to her dad. Like, look at the two little, like, keychains on her backpack or something. There's obviously a reason he isn't around. And if he does turn up in this game, I bet it's going to be in like one of the trials is like, oh yeah, guess what, I'm actually here too. It's probably a case where we have to defend Sherlock Sholmes. Or maybe Iris. But that only made me want the luck even more. So I opened it up. And found your father's memoirs. Yes. So I asked Hurley, who wrote these? He merely fell off his chair. But then he told me that that's when I found out that the author of all these accounts was my father. So, Iris's father was Mr. Sholmes' partner, Dr. John Wilson. I've practically lived with Hurley all my life. I was tiny when he took me in. So it came as quite a shock when Hurley told me he wasn't really my daddy, I mean. It must have done. I wonder why Mr. Sholmes chose to tell you. And at such a young age. Hurley says it's because he wouldn't have been able to hide it from me. Oh? Well, having lived with Hurley all these years, I'd say that his ways have rubbed off on me. There are some things I can just see. Especially lies. I almost know when people are lying before they open their mouths sometimes. Right. Anyway, I was so fascinated when I read Daddy's diary. That's what inspired me to write The Adventures of Sherlock Sholmes, actually. I always assumed Mr. Sholmes simply told you all those thrilling stories. Oh no! Hurley's hopeless like that. He forgets everything. As soon as he solved the case, it all but vanishes from his mind. this is lore. This is lore dropping. Because now not only we learn about her dad, we're also learning about Sherlock Holmes. And why he's so useless at a job he should be good at. The other day, it was so embarrassing. As usual, he totally forgot about the case he just solved. So, the very next day, we gathered together all the people involved and proceeded to solve the case again. It's a lot of lore. I think that's kind of the basis of this game. It's just, yeah, let's build the lore. Let's build the lore of it. It's a shame they're doing this on Case 5 though. They could have done all this on like Case 4 and then we had like a whole lot of lore to like go into Case 5 with. It's a shame they did it on Case 5. It was quite the shock for everyone. You can say that again. Do you share your father's surname? Don't you, Iris? That's right. Wilson. Daddy is Dr. John H. I learned from his diaries that he's a doctor of medicine. That's what prompted me to study and study so that I could earn a doctorate as well. Iris's father, who went to some distant land, and is a doctor by the name of John H. Wilson. No! No! Oh, my brain hadn't linked that. Oh, now she's gonna know. I like this game more 30 seconds ago. Oh, the worst part is she just said she can tell when people are lying. Oh, this ain't gonna end well. This ain't gonna end well at all. That's right. Visiting Professor of Medicine at Imperial Yuma University. And the man who, in the most bizarre circumstances, lost his life just before we left Japan. Suzuto. Yes. Perhaps we shouldn't pursue this conversation any further at the time. I think that would be for the best. You didn't want to talk to us 5 minutes ago.
Ah, my dear fellows. How good to see you.
Is this Sholmes?
Why ever did you not make your presence known to me beforehand?
Ah!
Well, no matter now. So, how the devil are you?
We've been with you most of the day.
Goodness. Really?
You tell me, Mr. Sholmes. Is your violin unscathed?
My violin? What are you talking about, dear madam?
Oh,
Never mind that now. I have something far more important. Behold, my dear fellows.
oh, another music box disc.
No, not another disc, Miss Suzuto. This is the one Gregson demanded we hand over as evidence. Mr. McGill.
Oh my. Then what's it doing here?
You know, at times, Mr. Narapado,
That is some high quality goldfish memory. I wish I had a memory like that. It's weird that he couldn't remember that he's been with us most of the day, but then he remembers that Gregson asked to hand over a disc. A very selective memory. A very selective memory.
I may well even be more adept at larceny.
Oh, that would be wonderfully exciting. I'd be your pickpocketing assistant. And Bruno could be our go-to lawyer if we ever got caught. Right. Plus, Susie has such beautiful handwriting. We could write all our menacing crime notifications. Yes, I'd be delighted. I'm just going to pretend this conversation never happened, I think. So that's how we got all this. I don't understand. How did that disc come to be in your possession? I thought Inspector Gregson took it back to Scotland Yard.
Quite correct. And that sort of uncompromising attitude is precisely why I always carry some of this.
That's a bar of caramel, Mr. Sholmes. Your one and only friend in times of loneliness, if I'm not mistaken.
If you will humour me, my dear fellows, cast your minds back to when the good detective confiscated the disc. I'll be taking whatever this is of McGillard's down the yard. Thank you very much. Hand it over.
Oh, yes. Of course.
If the police demand something's evidence, my dear fellow, we have no choice but to capitulate. It's all yours, Inspector.
For the briefest of moments.
For the briefest of moments, I had the disc in my hand, did I not?
Yes. Yes, you did, but I still don't understand.
It was precisely at that moment that I summoned my one and only friend into action. I press the disc into a pair of bars like this.
That's amazing.
The disc and all the minuscule protrusions have made an image in the caramel. Indeed, this caramel is quite exceptional. I developed it myself, you know. Suitably soft for making impressions, but resistant to melting, the result of a precisely controlled solution.
How extraordinary.
Carrying a pair of these is one person. On one's person frequently proves very useful indeed. Take a house key, for example. Simply press and unique form is duplicated. I can enter anyone's property at will and will never without high sucrose nourishment.
Yes, it sounds illegal. I love how he can just be so like blunt about, yeah, you know, just sitting back, chilling in someone else's house, you know, just watching some TV, reading some books, having the time of my life, you know. But I need to make sure I'm out of there before 8:30 because they come back.
From the image, I was able to create this. I confess I was most curious to know what manner of music would issue from the disc when played.
And what music would that be? You tell us then, Mr. Sholmes. What music does the disc play?
Well, unfortunately, I have no idea.
No idea.
None whatsoever. Are you familiar with the workings of a music box?
No, I'm afraid not. Goodness. You don't know, Bruno? Inside a music box, there's a special metal piece called a comb. That's what produces the sound. Small protuberances lock the different teeth of the comb as they rotate past it, making the different notes. The first music box to be invented using a rotating cylinder would produce. I messed that up entirely, I'm sorry.
But over time, a new type of player was produced, which uses discs such as these. With that development, the popularity of music boxes spread far and wide, all around the globe.
Why exactly?
Because the discs are easy to produce and can be interchanged to facilitate the playing of different tunes. There are a great many firms in Europe now manufacturing music boxes as a result.
It is wonderful to be able to play. It is wonderful to be able to enjoy music, even when no performer is present.
But it is the very success of this invention that means we are now presented with an insurmountable problem.
What do you mean?
As you may imagine, the construction of one firmed music box does not match that of another. And they have no way of knowing in which music box this particular disc was designed to be played. That seems like a mega oversight. There is no resolution to this problem, I'm afraid. It's quite intractable.
Ah, I see. That's why.
Naturally, I tested the disc in these few music boxes I have at my disposal. But as you can hear, to no avail. The results were equally unsatisfactory in this one. So, I am presently engaged in acquiring an example of all the music boxes ever made.
Every single one? That's early for you. Always taking things too far.
But dear girl, an unsolved riddle is quite repugnant to my constitution.
But surely all the different types in Europe will amount to a huge amount of music boxes, won't it?
Yes, that is certainly true. In the worst case, I shall just have to ask you to vacate the attic.
What? I've only just got set up.
Magnus McGilded. Not a name I expected to hear again so soon.
Yes, it's only been 2 months since that grisly case. Mr. McGilded perished within hours of the trial's conclusion. Was it the curse of the Reaper? No one knows. Till now. The omnibus was reduced to a pile of ash. Not a shred of evidence remained. And with the man's death, the truth about the murder, in which he was so intimately involved, was buried. We haven't really mentioned Mr. Natsume was still alright. As far as he's gone, I assume that means he's fine though. The only mention we've had of him was right at the very beginning of this trial. Right at the very beginning of this case, basically saying he was on like the voyage back or the flight back. It's got to be a voyage back, hasn't it? So it's like he's still on the voyage back. It's like 80 days, isn't it? From like what we got, 80 to 90 days, which is like 3 months. So there's still time. There's still time for the ship back to sink. Or maybe the curse of the Reaper can only happen in England. Hey. But everything's coming full circle now, so everything will make sense. Even though we successfully established Mr. McGild's innocence in the trial, newspapers are still claiming that it remains an unsolved case. The murder of the brickmaker, Mr. Feist Fried Mason. In the end, the truth of the matter remains a mystery. We still have no idea what really happened that night. And although Mr. McGilder was found not guilty through my defense, I still don't know if that was the right judgment or not.
Well, you never know with those Irish fellas. Especially ones that laugh in the courtroom matches. It would appear the case is not yet closed.
Well, it's time I start getting things ready for dinner, I think. Ginny will be here before long.
Thank you, Iris.
Oh, well, you must let me help you then. Of course, Susie. There's plenty to do.
I think I shall investigate the condition of my faithful performing partner. Now then, where did I leave it?
Let this be a lesson to you, Mr. Sholmes. Never leave anything too precious with a pawnbroker.
Yes, you may be right.
Oh, that reminds me of something Mr. Winterbank said before. He said that he had a manuscript of Iris's in pawn, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah, he definitely mentioned it. Mr. Sholmes' latest tale of otherworldly mystery lies dormant in my storeroom, were his words, I believe. So you heard about that, did you? I expect you were incensed as I was. Oh yes, the idea of such a wonderful story languishing in Mr. Winterbank's storeroom gathering dust.
My dear madam, I'm quite sure I told you already. The pawnbroker's storeroom is the safest place for it, more secure than a bank's vault.
And what about your Stradivarius, Hurley? Was that safe and secure?
Well, there may be the occasional mix-up.
Caused by a certain impetuous someone not too far from me right now. You know, very, very close by. Maybe. He's much bigger up close. Do you have any idea how long it took me to write that Baskerville story, Hurley? Oh, it sounds so exciting. The Hound of Baskervilles. I should love to read it. Ah. What got said? I don't understand. What's going on here? Why does it feel like an icy chill just went through the room? Susie? What did you say? You said the Hound of the Baskerville. But how could you know the full title? Well, that's That's because Mr. Suzuto is such a great fan of all the stories of Mr. Sholmes, of course. Bruno, The Hound of the Baskervilles has never been published. What? But when I showed Helen the manuscript, he told me that I wasn't allowed to publish it. I don't understand. But that's why I said to keep it safe. Until it was the right time for the story to be made public, you see. So why the manuscript? So that's why the manuscript's at Winterbank. And yet, how could Susie here know its title? Well, Hurley, what's going on? Ah. Visit Mr. Sholmes.
It would appear our guest has arrived.
Miss Lestrade. Alright, so we're just going to drop that conversation, are we? This was a bad idea. I knew I weren't welcome. I'm going. No, wait, Miss Lestrade. Just come back. Come back. Want a hug? We've been eagerly awaiting your arrival. Haven't we, Iris? Oh, yes. Just wait there, Ginny. We'll have everything ready for you in a jiffy. Not long, Susie? Right, of course. It's a pleasure to see you, Miss Lestrade. Will you make yourself at home?
Don't stand in the doorway, my dear girl. Come along in. What say you to some meddlesome? I won't take no for an answer.
Meddlesome it is, then. Meow. Meow. That evening, Iris prepared us a meal that was even more delicious than usual. Mr. Sholmes' violin performance was in no way meddlesome, and Gina, as we came to call her, taught us all how to steal things from one another without being noticed. Everyone thoroughly enjoyed themselves well into the night. I love how we just draw that conversation straight off. Just like, how do you know that title? How do you know it? I need answers. That was a very enjoyable evening, wasn't it? Oh yes. Iris's cooking was truly divine. And I feel as though I can still hear the enchanting strains of Mr. Sholmes' violin even now. I thought it'd be terrible at playing it. Best of all, I bet I could steal the glasses from his lordship's face the next time we're in court. Can I consult you about something, I wonder? What's the matter, Suzuto? It's about the telegram I received. Ah, the one that arrived first thing this morning, I suppose. summoned. What? Summoned? What do you mean? Telegram was from the Lord Chief Justice office. Lord Strongheart has asked to see me. The Lord Chief Justice? When? Tomorrow morning. What? Then we have to start preparing at once. Oh no, that won't be necessary, Naruhodo-san. I've been summoned alone. Alone? What on earth for? I have no idea. I suppose I'll find out tomorrow? What's all this about? Whatever it is, it's making me feel very uneasy. Oh, who could that be, I wonder? Good evening, friends. Iris. Hello again. And Gina, too. Yes. Actually, he's gonna stay with us tonight. Do you want to sleep in with me? Isn't that right, Ginny? Well, yeah. How lovely. I'll make you a pot of tea. You know, I've learned so much today. Oh? What in particular? All those things Ginny showed us. Isn't it wonderful? Ah, you mean those pickpocket techniques? We had fun trying them out on each other, didn't we? I think we've awakened a natural talent. I could earn a living from it. You might be getting ahead of yourself a little there. So, what brings you up to our humble quarters at this late hour? Well, you see, I came to return this. Oh, that's mine! Oh my! How did you... I told you, didn't I? I have a natural talent for it. Oh yeah, I'd forgotten. Iris literally is a child genius. So anyway, yeah, have it back. Not that I really understand why you wear it though. Ah, thank you. Alright then, good night. Yes, good night. But this is your office, is it? What do you think, Ginny? I think I wouldn't fancy me chances with a lawyer what lives in a place like this. Yes, me too. It seems as though Iris here still has some things she'd like to talk about. I suppose she probably wants to talk about the manuscript. Yes, I suppose she probably does. Iris, I suppose you're hoping to talk about the manuscript, aren't you? Aren't you going to tell me? I'm so sorry. I need a little more time, please. Alright, I understand. made you feel awkward. Oh no, not at all, Iris. Not at all. I don't know what this is really about. Well, this is about really, but it's a story you made up, isn't it, Iris? This mantle script, whatever you call it. It's not exactly a story that I made up. It's something I read in Daddy's diaries. Daddy's. That's right. I don't suppose I've mentioned it to you before, Ginny, but my daddy was Kelly's assistant, his partner. They solved all sorts of strange and mysterious cases. Is that right, mister? Apparently so. I was just as surprised as you were, to be honest. And Daddy wrote all the details of every single case down, you see, in his diaries. So I study them, and I write my stories based on what actually happened. So, where's your old man now, then? He had to go away on urgent business to a faraway land, and he'll be gone for a very long time. So I've never really met him. Oh, right. Come to think of it, I don't know anything about Gina's parents either. Perhaps we should ask her. Iris, this Hound of Baskerville's story, I take it that it's another tale inspired by your father's accounts? That's right. I thought it was fascinating. But it's different somehow. The other cases, I mean. Oh? How? I don't really know. But it must be special. In some way. Because after I'd written it, and with the manuscript to Hurley, he went as wide as a sheet. It was the first time I've ever seen him like that.
Pains me to have to say this after you've toiled over it so long, Iris. But this story must not be published. Under any circumstance.
But why not? One of my best works.
I'm not at liberty to say. Not now. So please, do not ask me.
Alright then. I won't.
But I do solemnly swear I will explain everything one day, Iris. When the time is right.
So that's how that manuscript came to be in Mr. Winterbank, isn't it? Yes. Ellie said it had to go somewhere very safe. That really gets my goat, that does. He's treating you like a child. It's mean. That's what it is. Keeping secrets like that. I'm sure Mr. Sholmes isn't trying to be mean. Eh? If he said he wasn't at liberty to talk about it, I'm sure there must have been a very good reason why. I think so too. You lot are too trusting for your own good. You can't pull wool over my eyes. Thumbs is lying to Iris. I bet my life on it. What? He's lying to me. Doubtful. We'll finish this encounter off. I've realized that I don't know anything about your parents, Gina. I ain't got any, never did have. Oh. Look, the East End's full of orphans like me. No one wants nothing to do with us from the minute we're born. Not even our mums. But we all stick together. The older ones look after the little ones and make sure they all get by. Oh, that's why you're a pickpocket. Nah. Diving's my life. Love it. I get a kick out of it every time I lift some pompous idiot's pet. And that's how we all afford to eat. I'm like Robin Hood, ain't I? That's how I see it. Oh, Gina. I do think about it sometimes. What it'd be like to have parents me. I've always thought it made everything right. But having listened to what Iris just said, it sounds like having parents ain't always easy either. Oh? I mean, if you know you never had them, you don't feel like you always want to meet them. True. I do want to see Daddy. So much. I am so sorry, you precious child. Oh, Iris. Gina, what did you mean when you said you know Mr. Sholmes is lying to Iris? Well, he reckons he popped that metal script or whatever, right? But come on, that's obviously a load of rubbish. Why would you think that? It's simple. If that story were in old Winterbank storeroom, there'd be no way someone from halfway around the world, in other words, you, would know about it. Ah. Sorry, Iris, but if you ask me, he sold it. Without telling you. But Ellie would never do such a thing like that. I'm sure of it. Ha. Grown-ups. Grown-ups do a lot worse than that. Believe me. Barefaced liars. A lot of them. You just ain't realised it yet. I'm telling you, that metal script ain't at Winterbanks. You'd soon see it if you had a look. Even if you think you can trust them, I don't. That Sholmes is a liar, like the rest of them. I'm honest, I have wondered if Hurley's telling me the truth sometimes.
Hey?
Oh, but I don't mean that I think he sold it. I think that I sometimes wonder if he might have hidden my manuscript somewhere. Somewhere I don't know. Even though it's wrong of me to doubt him. Don't be too hard on yourself, Iris. Oh my goodness, look at the time. Come along, Ginny. We should go back downstairs. Yeah, alright. And please, don't mention any of this to Hurley, will you? No, of course not. You know, if he's not listening in, like, you know, kind of prizing against the window, like push his face really against the window, like looking in classic Herlock Sholmes fashion. Good night then, Iris. Good night, Gina. You must let me make breakfast for you tomorrow morning. I insist. Oh yes, please. I can't wait, Susie. So good night then. Iris, I'm sure it's easy to forget, isn't it? Sometimes she speaks just like an adult, but deep down, she's still just a child. Well, I think it's about time I turned in for the night too. Mr. Naruhodo. Dr. John H. Wilson, Iris's father, but also the name of the murdered visiting professor at Yuma University. It can't be mere coincidence. There's something deeper going on here. Mr. Naruhodo. That voice. That's Mr. Sholmes. What's going on? It's the middle of the night.
Miss Lestrade is gone.
Gina?
She was supposed to be sleeping in Iris's room, but her bed is empty.
Well, she's an independent young woman. She's probably decided to go home.
I think not. When speaking to her before she retired, I received the distinct impression that she was looking forward to breakfasting with Miss Suzuto. No, I don't believe the girl has gone home, but I've been waiting for over an hour now.
Over an hour? Oh.
If you'll indulge me, look out the window, my dear fellow.
What's this about? Wait a minute. Why's there a light on at this time of night?
That's Mr. Winterbank's pawnbrokery.
Mr. Winterbanks? Oh no. He's gone to prove the point. He's gone to prove the point. Could Tina have gone?
It Seems you have some knowledge of the situation, Mr. Naruto.
Sorry? Oh, no. Not really.
Well, anyway, we must investigate. At once.
Oh. Miss Suzuto? I'm serving here. This is the perfect cliffhanger. This is a perfect cliffhanger. Exit the game. Save. Perfect cliffhanger. Perfect cliffhanger. So she's gone to prove it, and then, you know, there's probably, like, Winterbank's probably dead in there, or, something. They won't have they won't have the final case be a case of, oh yeah, they kind of stole something. Oh yeah. It'll be something good. Something good will be coming. That's next week. But I wasn't able to carry on for much longer. I think he'd be a bit more concerned if Iris wasn't there, but he said, oh yeah, Gina isn't there. So hopefully she isn't also in there. We'll see that's next week. That's next week. Definitely a suspicious fella though. For all the deductions and things that he can do and get wrong, I don't think he's stupid. There's definitely something. There's something about him. But that's next week. So I'm gonna go on Mario Death now and recover. And I'll be back tomorrow for tabs of weakness and weirdness and craziness. So I hope you have a wonderful night and a wonderful time. Have fun with your Mario Death sound. Oh, I will. I absolutely will. You hear that? In any case, hope you have a wonderful night, a wonderful rest of your day. Of course, your dreams hopefully are pleasant. You can have dreams. And I'll see you again tomorrow. And I may actually decide to put a schedule on the end of this page because I keep forgetting to do it. Have a wonderful day. And thank you. Before I forget. Heart.